Hey, Akshanya over on the YouTube side of things. How's it going? We are getting ready to keep working on stuff that we were working on yesterday and get ready for the Linux group today. I'm going to get some stuff set up for the troubleshooting and should be good. So we'll get going here in a minute. Alright, grabbing a couple water bottles. I said I'm grabbing a couple of fucking water bottles. God damn, man. This thing. How's it going, Wildfire? Sorry about that. Have to swear a little bit at my damn closed captioning that doesn't want to read what I'm actually saying. Alright. So, got my little notes on the right, what I'm working on. I got to build some of these scenarios out. So, let's do a few things here. Let's list the containers that are there, and it's all good. I'm good today. I think I'm good. I'm a little busy. I gotta get these things done. We're doing our last Linux group today, so I'm trying to make sure that the troubleshooting thing goes well for people. We're gonna have these scenarios. We actually set up a good amount of the scenario stuff yesterday. I gotta add this stuff to what we're doing. So, okay, so we're gonna build some containers out and we're gonna go from there. So, list-a grep-i container. Let's see what containers everybody's using. All right, so everybody's using this one here. So we're gonna use this as our copy. And let's do it like this. So wwctl container copy that one. And we're going to copy that over to, let's call it Rocky Linux 9. Just for, well, you know what? We'll shorten the names a little bit. We'll call it tshoot 1. So we'll copy that one over to tshoot 1. And then we'll make our tshoot 2 and tshoot 3. So, yeah, Wildfire, I'm doing good. And Lezerbisca, thanks for showing up. And I'm just going to call you Engineer Far. Hopefully this stuff's all useful to you guys. We are not working too hard today, but we are building some stuff out for the Professional Linux Users Group meeting that we're going to do later today. We're going to have a meeting, and we're going to drop everybody down into some different troubleshooting environments for them to work on. I got to set up a new dock. Let's do it this way. Let's go to... How do we want to do this? While those are copying, because those are going to take a little while. Let's go back here. And we're going to make unit 16. Yep. And then with unit 16, we'll start some of the other stuff we're doing. All right. So what's happening over here on this machine is we are copying the containers for We were using this lab container originally in the environment. That's what's on all the nodes. But now 11 and 12 are going to get a different container image, and they're going to have a broken Apache service of some type. We're going to have some misconfigured disks on one, and then we're going to have a broken Rocky repo on another. So we're going to go ahead and do this for each of these, and then I'll go in and I'll modify the container to do the things I want. All right, I also have a set of, let's see, documents that I need to change over. 16, troubleshooting. Okay. And answers. Okay. And then let's change that to the worksheet for 16. And that'll be good. Okay. So that's copying. We're going to get more of these made up, and then we're going to set the system up in this way. Go through this over here just so I have it in my other notes. I finished all that stuff. Good. Good, good. Now we wait. Now we wait. That's our Bisca. I don't know exactly what you're asking. You said, is this going to be a personal or teamwork type of job? Oh, you're going to do it individually. People, well, I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about that. No, I think we'll do it individually. I was going to send people down one at a time while we're doing our training and while we're meeting up today, and have them go down one at a time. And I'm trying to get my, like, more senior people to go down there and work with them. I think I have at least one or two of those guys showing up that are kind of like my leads. Like the people that have been around the longest and been doing this stuff the longest, and they'll kind of guide you guys through as you ask questions or as you try to figure out what's going on. So that's kind of the plan for now. I guess we'll figure out where we go from there. If it ends up just being us working on it together in the primary talk area, we'll do that. In the Discord, though, I have made, so if you look at our Discord, I have made the sections, let me put that up a little bit, for today. So the Troubleshoot 1, Troubleshoot 2, and Troubleshoot 3 are one-on-one channels, meaning that you can only be in there with one other person. So I was going to send people down there, and then my mods are going to have mods, or I don't know what you'd call them. I guess you can call them kind of like the people that are monitoring you. They would have the answers, and they would be able to help you, but they won't help unless people ask, obviously. So that's kind of my thoughts on how we're doing it. So also, it looks like study group's going. So actually, I don't know if we have an official study group today, but you guys can always hop in there. If you see somebody hop in there doing study stuff, you can always hop in there. That's one of the nice things about our little Linux group is you guys can go in there and kind of work on whatever you want, just get better at doing Linux. But back to my lab stuff. All right, so let's assign these properly to the nodes that we want to. So here's our T-shoot 1, 2, 3. They are going to go to Rocky 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So www.ctl CTL node, node set. And I think it's container. We're going to see. And we can also set the node here, Rocky 11. Let's try. And container, let's see if we can do T-shoot 1. I think that's right. Nope, maybe it's not container. Node set. There we go. Huh, did I do that wrong? Ah, so I can modify them one at a time like this, or I can actually do it in pairs. So I could say, so T-shoot 2 is going to be, and you can use, I mean, this doesn't really save me anything here. You should be able to use that. Ah, that wants to assign 3 nodes. So I'm going to say no because I don't know what that's going to assign. So if you get something like that where it asks you if you want to do multiple nodes, and you can just say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Let's try 14. Yes. And then we'll do troubleshoot 3. Will be 15. And you can do a -y on these, and it'll force the thing. But I like to see it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and do wwctl nodes node list -a grep -i for container, and I'm going to see that these ones are set to troubleshoot 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. And then we're going to do wwctl overlay build. Now the overlay build doesn't strictly speaking have to happen for a container change. However, if there was anything that was going to affect the overlays, I would just want to rebuild them anyways. So let's do that. Let's do a container build just to make sure there's no containers and nothing there that needs to change. So container build, right? There's no containers to build. Typically you would set, the specific container, and there'd be nothing to build here, right? There's nothing, they're all current. So it'll just go check, and it does some check summing on the back end to make sure everything's the way that it wants. All right. So now those nodes just need to be kicked over, right? So the easiest way to do that is probably, let's go check an Ansible uptime of everything. Make sure, because we need to clean up the environment anyways, typically at the end of the week. Let's make sure nobody's in any of these. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's doing anything in any of these. So we are going to, yep, we'll just give it the old, every node gets a reboot. You get a reboot, you get a reboot, everyone gets a reboot. Yeah, Shunya, the only reason I haven't focused on database stuff in the Linux Systems Administration course is you may troubleshoot some databases, I think, in your time doing this, but it'll probably be just some really basic stuff, and then you'll hand it off to either database engineer or, I mean, I guess, yeah, Linux people do get sucked into some database work, but I've been focusing on, at least for the administration course, not doing heavy. I guess the best way to say it would be not doing too heavy of that stuff. All right, let's do this real quick. So write the scenario. I got to write these scenarios, and I have my labs over here somewhere. This is last week's stuff, and this is today's stuff. But I need to redo that drawing now because this is all changed. We're doing incident response today, so you're getting called out for an incident, and you actually have to do some fixing of stuff. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're working on today, guys. We're going to give this sleep 300, and then that. So that's a 5-minute wait, and then run the command. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think Linux people do get pulled into at least keeping your servers up. So, yeah, probably SQL server, make sure it's up, make sure it's got a basic connection. I would say that's not an uncommon type of thing for systems admins and systems engineers to have to deal with, for sure. So, but for anybody that got here a little late, what we're working on today is all of these scenario build outs for our professional Linux users group. We have a set of labs that we've been going through, right? We've got this Linux Systems Administration course, and today is the last day of it. Today is the official last day of us meeting for it. We'll keep meeting out into the future a little bit until we're done, but This is the last day where we're actually doing like a class on it, and anybody's welcome to come. It's 3 p.m. today, which is in about 4 hours, 4.5 hours for me. So your time zone would be whatever it is. We're gonna meet down here like we normally do, and hopefully we have 30, 40 people like average. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna split off, and people that want to do the troubleshooting are gonna jump down into the troubleshooting areas here, and they're gonna jump in and they're gonna do these actual labs that I'm building out, right? So I need to then grab my, this is my, I gotta get my incident. Of course, enable the fucking editing, Jesus. Just absolutely fucking atrocious. Like shit that we never set this thing to. It just goes to whatever bullshit ass window it wants. It's amazing how this stuff can get worse over time. Just amazing to me. Like your garbage just keeps getting worse instead of getting better. Again, absolutely amazing to me. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Absolutely amazing. Alright. One other thing that I gotta do then is I gotta update this stuff, and I gotta update the worksheet. So we'll update all these things as we go, right? We're cleaning this up. I'm trying to keep my sanity together while these fucking windows just keep doing all their bullshit no matter what I type. So, alright, let's add this. 16th class meeting. Move this one to last week. There we go. And then over on YouTube, Xshun, I don't know if you're deleting your messages or what, but they keep disappearing for me. That's kind of weird. Oh, what's going on over there on the YouTube side of things? Projects check for today. You should be done. We can leave that in there. Alright, this was last week's stuff. Clear that all out. This week is going to be we'll do incident response. Really? That's what we're doing here now? Alright. Troubleshooting, scientific method, practical tips, understanding data. All those things were good for yesterday. Or last week, rather. Don't need them this week. Alright. Three lab scenarios. Alright. So we'll get that cleaned up. And then we got to start cleaning these up. So we're gonna have two general labs that we're gonna, or not labs, but we're gonna have two general things that are going on. They're either gonna be doing the actual incident doc. Fuck this other thing go. or they're going to be doing the incident answers. So the incident answers will be probably like the mods, or I don't know, proctors, I guess, if you want to think of them like that. So this will be prologue. Oh. Super fucking annoying. Alright, there we go. Don't need exercises for this one. We'll just need the scenarios. Scenario 1. Really? Motherfucker. Scenario 2. Scenario 3. There we go. Alright. Alright, that at least looks closer. Closer to what we need. Alright, let's get back to Linux. That's at least not gonna piss me off for the next few minutes. Let's just build out these environments. This other stuff's just making me mad. Alright. Environment's up, all the nodes are back. All the nodes are clean. Good. Alright. Alright, so we need to go to tshoot 1. So www.ctl exec container exec for tshoot 1, and we're going to go into bin bash on that node. Now we're in tshoot 1, and we're going to do a few things in this environment to just kind of make sure that Apache's not doing the things that it's supposed to do, right? Nikhil, you said from where can you get the lab answer? Well, so what we're going to do is the meeting later today in about 4 hours, we're going to have people doing these labs, and I guess they can get the answers when they're done. So, I mean, that'll be when they could get the answers. Let's install Apache. Take a little bit of time. I don't know why this is this environment's just, I think it's okay, it's on older hardware, this is what it is, but sometimes the setup takes a little longer than I like. But yeah, I guess the answer to where you get the answers for this stuff is to come do the labs, right? Figure it out. Although I guess people that are watching this would be able to figure out how I'm breaking it, but I guess that's not going to help too much in troubleshooting it unless you kind of know what you're doing. So, all right, then system CTL, yep, can't operate on that, but I can enable it still. Okay, and then we're also going to cd to etc system d system. And then we're going to cd to, oh, well, let's do this. Oh, well, I guess we won't know exactly where that is until we get down in there. So let's go to multi-user target wants, and in here we should see oh, there it is. Oh, where is that? Hold on. Oh, I don't see. Oh, I don't see that at. So. Network online systat timers. Some of those should be multi or default. All right, well that's fine. Let's see, HTTPD, and then in here we should have a conf.d, and then conf and then conf.d. Yeah, here it is. Let's copy our httpd.conf over to httpd.conf.orig, right? And in here, we're going to look for port, and we're going to comment this out. And then we're going to YYP, and we're going to listen on 87. Okay. And then we're going to, so we're just breaking stuff. What else are we doing? Not on the right port, blocked by firewall, not starting. Okay. System. Okay. Now we're going to exit the container, and the container's got to rebuild. It's got to rebuild for all the crap that we just did, right? Hold on. So it's been modified. That is actually something I didn't think about. No, that's fine. That's actually fine. It's not going to break anything. It's just, it is something that matters if you're adding services that add a user, like in this case the HTTPD user, and then you're allowing passwd to be overwritten, you are going to have problems in a cluster. So it's almost like you want the cluster to manage the HTTPD user, which tends to be number 48. That's the user number it'll grab by default. This will work for this lab. Being in the corporate world and doing this correctly would not involve what I just did. The lab that I'm doing is it's safe enough to do it the way I just did it, but you would not want a user just running around, because it'll get overwritten from the cluster. And if the cluster ever makes a 48, which it shouldn't, but if it ever made a user 48, it would overwrite these files in this directory on these nodes. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine for now. All right. So let's do www. So this is going to the Rocky 11 and 12 node. So since that's the case, www.ctl overlay build, and we'll go for Rocky 11 and Rocky 12. We're going to rebuild their overlays, and then we're going to sh2 Rocky 11 and reboot, and sh2 Rocky 12 and reboot. And just because I'm kind of interested in how they boot, I'm going to go watch these nodes. Well, I'm going to watch the one node boot. Just want to make sure everything comes up clean. Make sure there's nothing too weird going on. And then we're going to go and we're going to verify that the system looks like what I expect it to as the system comes up. So that's kind of where we're at right here. That's what's hot in the streets right now, as they say. Oh gosh, it's actually funny. That reference that I just made is about 20 years old right now. If anybody remembers that. I can't imagine anybody remembers the reference I just made. Oh, it is about Diddy though. That's kind of funny. Funny that that reference could be that old. Alright, so there's our T-shoot container. The name of this node is Rocky 11. It's got the T-shoot container that we just updated. And then from there, as we watch that, we should be able to start to work on... Let's just work on the incident page, and then we'll figure out the answers later. So, scenario 1 will be connect to T-shoot 1 at prolog.asuscom.com. Here will be the password for each. I'll put those in these when we actually do the doc, or when we actually do the work. Okay. A ticket has come in that the web server is not running on a set restore the system to a running web server on port 80. Ensure the server can be reached by sure that the server can be reached by someone external connection attempt, so that'll be that. Alright. This user will be, I got the username, I'll put the password in right before I make it a PDF on the way in. This will be T-shoot 2. And that'll be T-shoot 3. 3. The names don't actually matter there. Okay. Yeah, Chris, they're going to be for people troubleshooting stuff today. All right, Rocky 11's up. Let's go check it out. It's always more fun to go play with these nodes than it is to actually. All right. System CTL status HPD. It's not working. Okay. So, I didn't break that in any way, but I'm not gonna mess with this for the lab, but sometimes people mess with this stuff. I'm not gonna mess with any of this stuff for the lab. We're gonna leave that there, so people have to turn it on. So you gotta turn on. Then you gotta start it. Then it's not on the right port, So that's there, and then that's running, so that has to be disabled. Okay. Okay, so that scenario. Okay, let's underline these. I think it looks a little better. This will be broken up a little bit. I don't need the while for now. And let's move that in. And okay. And then we got to do the last one. All right. So I gotta go test this one out. Well, actually, I know this one's gonna work, but all right. Say Rocky 11. That's system CTL status firewall D. Okay, 11's still there. All right, let's get out of there. So we're done with 11 and 12. We'll go to Rocky 13 now. Technically, 13 didn't really need to be on its own, but that's fine. Let's go see what this looks like. So. So there's our 3 gig. There's our 3 disks B, E, and C. We do not see space on its own partition. We don't see it there on its own partition either. So okay. So we'd have to make that. So you would verify that space is not correctly set up by doing a df-h on space, seeing that it's not even there. So restore the system to run. Okay. Set up space to be a separate partition for 3 local 3 gig disks and verify right into its mount point. Into the mount point. Make it persistent on reboot. Do not reboot during the lab, as this will not work, because if you reboot, it's just going to wipe your system config. Okay, and then you'll reboot. All right, so that's that. And then last one. What's my last setup? Ah, all right. So 13 and 14 should be good. Let's go to www.ctl node list -a grep-i container, and the one that I'm going to do now is tshoot 3, and we're going to bust this one so that you can't update things. So let's do that. Let's go to exec, and we're going to change the exec to troubleshoot 3. So we're going to go into this one, and we're going to cd to etc yum.repos.d, and we're going to look at what's in here. All right, so we got some EPEL, we got some Cisco stuff. I didn't even remember doing Cisco stuff in there, but okay, apparently I did. And let's go ahead and let's say that we wanted to copy repo rocky.repo.orig, then vi our Rocky repo. Right. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to change or otherwise kind of break this so the system can't be updated, right? So let's go ahead and just set all of these. I set all these to 0 as well. So now if you try to do a DNF update, so we've broken those because now you can't update anymore. And then we're going to also do etc dnf.conf. Still yum.conf. That's funny. It's DNF, but it's still yum.conf. And we're going to come down here and we're going to say exclude, and we're going to do kernel everything, right? And then even if we had this, even if this environment was fixed, it's still going to exclude anything with the kernel. You need to update. All right. By the way, let me do this real quick. I'm going to go back and I'm going to copy the original back over Rocky real quick just to show something. We can fix it here in a second. Yes, DNF and let's say update, right? This is going to go find everything in there. Again, we're gonna have to return those off, but this will be fine just to show you something. It's not gonna find any kernel updates. See how there's no kernel in here? No kernel. But hold on. If I take this away, I'm just gonna exclude this line real quick. and do that update again. And this time, if there's kernel updates that are needed, it doesn't look like there's any. Oh, there they are. Yeah. So now those are there, right? So no, we're going to get rid of that. Make sure that I'm not lying to you guys. Yeah, kernel's not at the top anymore. Yep. No. And then we gotta go just fix these real quick. That's a yum.repos.d. And we're just gonna take all the enableds and make them 0. Which R0. R0. Oops. Now when we do DNF updates, there's no updates. But I'm also going to do this one other thing. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's enough broken shit in there. All right, so now we're going to exit this. This is going to be the T-Shoot 3. We're going to apply... Actually, T-Shoot 3 has been applied. We just got to reboot those 2 nodes, and then we can go and make sure that they can't be updated. And that'll be the lab builds. Now, I have to write the answers because what's going to happen is when people are down in there doing these labs, this hot dog over on YouTube, he asked what Linux distro. This is Rocky 9.4 that I'm using here in a werewolf environment down in a lab that I give people access to for the professional Linux users group. I am breaking DNF, which is funny because it's still yum under the hood. At least in this version, I'm going and editing the yum.conf and the etsy yum.repos.d, right? It's funny that said yum.com. I said yum.conf, C-O-N-F. Whatever. Oh, whatever. But this build methodology is called Werewolf, and it's a pretty good tool for what it does. It's pretty easy for me to tool these labs over the way that I like them. So it's not too much work for me to tool these over between the 2 environments and stuff. Okay. Let's overlay build for 15 and 16. Where's that at? Hold on. Yeah, 15 and 16. 16. Rocky 15. 16 can reboot. Let's go watch them reboot real quick. We'll just watch 15 reboot. And then I'll probably do at least one run through of the labs with the answers up. Because I like to make sure that the labs do the things I want them to. And then we'll kind of go from there. Oh, got to be on console if we want to watch the console boot. Let that power up here real quick. This is a virtualized machine inside of XCP-NG, so it's going to boot. It's going to come up as a what'll happen with it is it will come up, it won't see its disk, it'll find itself via, it's seeing that it's getting the container T-Shoot 3, it's Rocky 15, it's going to pull down its new kernel image and its init RAM-FS, and then it's going to boot into a stateless image. So that's what we want, that's what we expect. This is the thing that we expect. You need to update. Your team is unable to get your junior team members fix the system to be able to update Verify that kernel updates are happening. All right. Okay. I think all right. I'm going to update these. The following: restore system web server and port 80. Complete these, you must have the following. Okay? The following 3. Okay? The 3 disks must be set up in LVM space let's see ext4 or xfs must be installed on the partition or on the I kind of think these should be over in the answers, but maybe we'll see. We'll see. Etf tab must have an entry for let's see. Yeah, maybe those need to be over in the other one. Okay, we'll figure that out. All right, Rocky 15's back up. Let's go check. SH Rocky 15. What's up? Says dev. And we say DNF update. Can't update. Nothing to update. Yep. Okay. That would allow it to at least update. There's no kernel in there. There's the kernel again. Okay. Okay. Those are done. Labs are built. I feel good on the labs. We could watch that node reboot if we want again. Doesn't matter. So let's web server must be running. So all right. Let's finish this. System D. Let's save this. Let's pull up the other one. Whoops. Incident answers. All this here. Copy over all this here. Okay. So the incident, pretty good. This will be the answer sheet that I only give to the people that are running the environment, but I'm going to give hints over here. So there's going to be hints that are going to make this a little bit longer. Okay, that's going to run. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Let's clear our environment out. CTL node okay. There's all our nodes. All our nodes are up and working. I'll run through the labs here in a second, or the troubleshooting, to make sure that they all work. But yesterday we did the part where we set those all up to be jailed and to send them over to the right environments. So my last test today will be actually to do the full environment test. I'll go from here. I'll SSH all the way through on the connection. Make sure that I can only jump to the nodes that I should be able to jump to, and then I'll make sure that the scenarios are properly broken, which they should be, and then I should be able to get it completed. And then that'll be good. All right, so that's the major parts of the lab all built out. I think that's fine. Point. Not really broken so much as it's not configured, but that is broken. I mean, if you have a service level agreement with your dev teams that you will have servers prepared for them within 5 minutes if they ask for them, and you build a process, and your process is designed to build out your servers, right? And then your servers are not coming out of there with the agreed upon, you showed them the process and this is how it's supposed to be built, but it's not coming out that way. Something needs to get fixed. Either you can't do it and you need to set their expectations better. That's not a good answer. Or your team needs to go back and look at why your tooling isn't building that right. Now that's something for another day, but we need to get, in this case, we want to fix these things, these problems that are coming into our environment. And these are, I guess I would say these three are pretty common type of things that could be busted. But really it's just kind of flexing your muscles a little bit and practicing your troubleshooting skills. You got to know some things to be able to troubleshoot, and you've got to be able to find some things to be able to troubleshoot, right? So I think this will be good practice for people who have not done this before. And we'll be doing this in the group in about 4 hours or so. Yeah. We're meeting down there at 3 my time. All right. So, we just hit an hour. I haven't heard too many questions, probably because people are wondering what in the madman bullshit I'm doing. I'm trying to get the last of our little prologue project stuff done. So we're on unit 16. We're at the end, and I'm gonna get the last of the like troubleshooting pieces all done and set up here. So topic of discussion: incident response. So fix web server, fix disk and partition problem, and then fix update and okay. So that's what's going on today. That's what's, as I said earlier, what's hot in the streets. Nobody even tried to figure out what that reference was to. That was from the second season of the Dave Chappelle Show, which was, man, what, 2004, 2005-ish? Long time ago. And people forget that show only ran for 2 seasons. But yeah, it was right after I got out of the Army. All right. So we're gonna have these 2 live incidents running, or these 3 live incidents running today. Yeah, that reference is almost old enough to drink. That's funny. And I didn't even think about it when I said it, but it's actually funny that he's making fun of Puff Daddy in that. He's that episode is making the band. They're all in the house, and what he says is as people stopped listening to Diddy every time he came in, the one guy was doing his taxes, and he goes, "Oh, you're just gonna sit there and do your taxes? That's what's hot in the street right now." Oh shit, that's funny. All right, it's funny to me because I probably saw it live. I guess for some of you younger guys, it's not gonna be as funny. All right, we got that going. Got that. Let's do a full. No, not yet. No, we won't do the full thing yet. Let's clean this up. Gotta figure out what our discussion questions are gonna be. Let's figure out what our discussion questions are gonna be for today. I'm just leaving spacers. Sometimes you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing. I'm just leaving a spacer so that it keeps the formatting. If you guys have ever used these tools and then you lose all your formatting and stuff, it's just a nightmare. These are all from last week's discussion, so we'll clean that up. $16 is going to be troubleshooting labs. Finished project. Okay, gotta finish cleaning this up. I can clean this up here in a little bit. This isn't that much to clean up there. And then let's do the fun stuff. The fun stuff is always getting in there and verifying that the things work the entirety of the way. So I'm gonna come over here and I am going to do the full connection, the full lab, everything that I need to get this to work. So I'm going to do the first one, which is SSH2. Let's do this. Let's history grep-ish, and here's our T-shoot. This is on my local machine, so that's on my local IP. You guys have to hit that from the outside world, but let's SSH T-shoot 1. That should be here. That should connect me in. I'll go into lab 1.1, which is Rocky there. And I will say, I've got to check my Apache stuff. System, CTL status, HTTPD, and whatever problems I see there. Don't see it running. Don't see it running. Got to fix it, right? Okay, good. Boom. That one's good. Now, hold on, over here, just for, we don't need to reboot it. Now we're going to do T-Shoot 2, which should drop us into this other lab. And we'll go, we'll go into, let's go lab 1, and it'll send us to Rocky 13. fdisk-l, grep-i for xvd. There's my disks, df-h on space. Don't see it. James Lynch said, while listening to my encouragement, you resolved an Azure DevOps environment issue. That was nice. Nice. Well, hopefully this stuff's useful. All right, so over here, these guys would fix up these disks. They would carve them up, do all the things they need to, probably heavily reference that lab 3 if you don't remember it, and then making sure that you add it into being persistent on the system. All right, I'm going to call Rocky 13. I'm going to call that lab good. And then let's go to T-Shoot 3. And T-Shoot 3 is going to be the last of these environments. And that's going to be here. And we'll go to that one. Make sure we go to Rocky 15. And DNF update should be nice and busted. Well, busted in the way that things get busted. Yep, okay. Good. Okay. Okay, so Luis Code said, hey, Tanis, how can I get started with these labs? I have a few different labs over on the Killer Coda is probably the easiest place to get started on labs that I or Fisherman have made. We're kind of some of the more senior people in the professional Linux users group, and we have different labs up on Killer Coda. Those labs, I just linked them over on the Twitch side. Let me link them over on the YouTube side. These are free. They do not cost you anything. I don't get anything from them. I get the small satisfaction of seeing how many people are using the labs. That's about it. But those labs are free. If you say, Scott, I want to do this thing, this what you're doing here, this is fine. Actually, let me reboot this guy. That'll kick me all the way out. Good. All right. Yeah. So I'll wait for the end of the ad break. We got a little bit of an ad break going on the Twitch side. But as soon as that's done, I'll pull this up. All right. Ad break should just about be over on the Twitch side. There we go. Should be back from the ads now. So, if you're part of our Prolog, which is the Professional Linux Users Group, free group on Discord. We got 3,400-ish members now, somewhere in there. Like, we're just trying to keep growing, trying to keep people coming in and getting into the Linux engineering and administration space, whatever you want to do in Linux, but do it professionally, right? And the question was, how do we get into this if we want to do these labs? So if you want to do these labs, you come into our Discord. You go to Prolog Projects, and then you just start back in week 1. We're in week 16 now, so you got to go all the way back up here to find week 1. It's quite a scroll, and then you would find all of these pieces of the lab. You would find how to get in there. There's a syllabus here that you can use. There's just a massive amount of discussion questions you have to get involved with, and it's a lot of work. I was telling you guys when we were doing it, it's about 6 to 8 hours of work a week. And now we're up to week 16, so if you were trying to keep up, there's a lot to catch up on. I will be adding these labs here in a little bit. I'll be PDFing them and throwing up here. And then I'll be adding the discussion questions when I get them written. So that's how you get started with our labs, right? If you just want to go do Linux labs in general, you go jump into the link that I gave you guys, which is the Prolog labs on Killer Coda, either by me or Fisherman. I think there's a few other people that contribute to the labs, but those are the general ones. And that's how you'd get started. So hopefully that clears that up and makes that clear as mud for you. All right, so we've got all that done. I've built all this. I need to finish up the documentation, which I'm going to do off screen just so I can add the I want to be able to add the passwords in there. And don't worry, these environments are only going to exist. These environments themselves will only exist like this for, well, I guess they got to stay until at least the end of January. So, well, that'll be fine. It'll be fine. I got one other special thing I might add to these environments that I haven't told you guys about. Yeah, maybe I'll. I haven't added it. Well, I'll have to go find some stuff and add it if I do. But if I do, it'll just pop up during the lesson. So if I get that other thing done, no, it's not gonna be a virus. It's a monitoring thing that I wrote a while back for the other labs that we used to use, but people didn't really use the dungeons as much as I would have liked. So I kind of closed down our little dungeon experiment. We didn't really get the usage, and the people weren't as interested in that stuff as I was. So. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But this people tend to like this Linux systems administration and engineering type stuff, because this is the kind of stuff that I really think you can use this stuff and get into a good career. You know, I've been helping engineers and admins get into this space for a long time, so I think you guys can do it if you stick with it and get good at it. You know. All right. So we got right now, if we were to look at it here, our plan was this, and this is all done. Right now, it's not the cleanest looking thing. Oops, let's undo that. If we were to kind of redraw this now that we have that little one done there, it kind of looks like this. You know, you coming off the web. Grab my little pen here. You coming off the web. You come over into our Bastion node. And this is P01. Well, I guess we'll leave it at medium. Now, in P01 Jump 01, you get right? So you're one of these jailed users. Typically, hold on. I think problem here. Just cut that. Make it its own text. Because if you make it its own text, then you can do this to it. Right. So you got your jailed users, T-shoot. And then those guys are going to get shot over into one of the different environments, right? And these environments are the different Rocky nodes. And then this is, you know, Apache fix disk fix. This one is what's the other one? What's that last one? Package manager. Right. So then, and then that's kind of what we did for each of those. So you get dropped into each of those based on which user you are, right? And that was the plan for our lab. Nothing special, just coming off the web, hit one of these jailed users, get sent into, you know, these different maybe there's your labs, boom. Right, so that's kind of what we did, even though there were all these other moving parts in it, right? That was the plan. Something like this. I don't know, it's not perfect, but it looks good enough for government work, right? So, got that stuff like we want. Got the scenarios done. I got to update that last little bit of stuff and the documentations. Yeah, diagrams. Government would be proud. Fair enough. I actually have quite a bit of government work to do this next couple weeks. I got to go out to Ohio too. That's going to be fun. Never been to Ohio. I feel like I've been most of the I mean, I've never sat down and hit like all the states that I've been to. But I wonder if there's a map online for that. Or like a map. All the states I've been to. They're like a... Yeah, does somebody have like a map of this? Nice. There might be one of these. Let's see. What states have I been to? I've been to Hawaii now. Been to California, been to Nevada, been to Utah, I live in Arizona. Been to Colorado, been to New Mexico, been to Texas. I've been to Washington. Been to Montana. I've been to Wyoming. Been to Michigan, been to Maine, been to New Hampshire. I've been to Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia. Been to North and South Cackalack. I've been to fucking spent a lot of time in Georgia in the Army. I've been to Florida. Never been. Did I go to any of these? No. I've been to Boston. Yeah, that's my map. Yeah, I've been to I was in Montana with one of my Army buddies for when I was in well, when I was in the Army, I lived in Colorado, and we drove up to one of my buddies' houses in Montana for Thanksgiving, and it was the wildest thing because I'm from like Arizona. I'm from Phoenix in the city. So while I did a lot of stuff out, you know, in the wild in the Army, and I did a lot of camping when I was a kid, I was not ready for going to Montana with a buddy. And he's like, let's go zero our rifles before we go hunting. And we literally drove like 4 miles from his house and just shot into some salt flats to zero our rifles in for hunting. And I was like, we didn't even really leave town. And he's like, that's what nobody cared. His town was like 2,500 people, which I think was about my graduating class of high school. Or my graduating class wasn't that big, but my high school was that big. My graduating class was a little smaller, but anyways. I'm trying to think if, man, have I been to any of these? Nope. It is funny though, Michigan has the lower and the upper peninsula, and I kind of feel like it shouldn't, not that it shouldn't be both. I'm just saying, like, I feel like you should check one or the other because they're different types of Michigan here. Let me think. No, I haven't been to any of these. Never been to New York. I have no desire to go to New York though. So, unless the wife drags me there one day, I'll be going to Ohio. That'll be my thing coming up here. Now, if they say countries I've been to, is there a country version of this? Now, there's a country version of this, which I'd be willing to bet I have a fair amount of. I've been to Canada, been to Mexico, been to Germany, but only passing through. I've been to... Somebody help me out here. Where's Amsterdam? I literally don't know that. I'm not messing with you guys. I've been to Iraq. I've been to Kuwait. Been to Iraq. It's arguable about whether or not I crossed over into Iran. I was on the border. Where is... Where's Amsterdam? Netherlands, huh? I didn't know that. I don't know where the Netherlands are, guys. Somebody's gonna have to help me out here. So I've technically landed in both of these and didn't really get to go do anything in either of those. But what? I wasn't kidding about those ones. Does it think I was kidding about those ones? Those are my countries. Never been south of Mexico. Never been south of about here on Mexico. See, alpaca, that's what I mean, I wouldn't get these if it wasn't the airport. But yeah, I mean, anyways, that was fun. That was fun. I haven't. I never intentionally went to Europe. I just have passed through Europe, and then the one time where I was supposed to get 6 months. So I probably haven't told you guys this story before, but I was coming back from Iraq, and we were landing in Germany, and we had about a 6-hour layover. So me and the other 22-year-old guys were all gonna go like spend time in Germany and have fun, right? And we got locked down in the airport because somebody left a camera. You guys probably don't remember this. Well, probably some of you don't, but we used to not have cameras on our phones, right? And we used to have to carry like little, what most of us did was we carried just little disposable cameras. You'd take like 30 pictures and then you'd send it in and get your photos, whatever. Well, this was late 2003 and people were still doing that. And some lady had left one out on a park bench right outside of the airport, and they locked the airport down thinking it was a bomb, like a little IED. And I was just getting out, I was just coming home from Iraq. I told them, I told the security guards, I'll go out there and kick that thing off the bench if you want. But no, they locked us down for like 6 hours and sent bomb squads out there and stuff just to verify it really was just a shitty little camera. It wasn't big enough but to blow my foot off or something. But they locked the entire airport down for it when we were coming back from Iraq. So that was like a shitty time. I didn't get to see Germany at all. I just got to stay in the airport for 6 hours. That was shit. All right, but anyways, doesn't matter. Made it home. All right. So that stuff's all done. I would have kicked it to get out of there. Yes. To get out of there and get my 5 hours back, going and doing whatever you think 22-year-old infantry guys would have done running around in Germany for 5 hours. It was probably exactly what you think it would have been. But yeah, I would have kicked that IED potentially off the park. It wasn't big. It wasn't big enough to blow up the park bench it was on, let alone us in the airport. But they freaked out the security guards that much. And X-Shunya, I'm not sure. I never did anything with Syria. Yeah, and then alpaca. The funny thing was when we came back, we landed in Canada before we went to South Carolina. And in Canada, they opened up the bar for us because we landed at this airport like late and it was already closed. They opened up the bar for us and we drank all the alcohol in the bar up in Canada. So that was kind of funny. So, anyways, it's all just good times. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go grab a. I'll set up a timer. We'll do a little break, and then I'll come back and I'll start adding to the. We'll clean up the incident side of this, and we'll add the passwords in for each of these. Right? We'll get the passwords in them. Reboot the lab machine, refresh, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure that this one looks like what I want, and then we'll save this one off. And then over here on the answer side of things, I'm going to put my hints in here for the people that are running, because some of my guys are going to be running this, and you know, I'm going to have some hints in there for my guys that are running the incidents. Yeah, the alpaca, the people that I deal with the most probably out of Canada now are people that I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with. Like, sometimes we'll run into each other at some of these camps that we do around the world. So I run into some, I guess, Canadians? Yeah. I run into some of them at these different camps and stuff. Mainly the main camp. They all go to the main camp. All right, I'm going to take a break real quick. So let me pull up my hourglass. And then we'll come back and do, let's say, quick break. Then set up more labs. We'll finish up our lab setup. So I'll be back. Probably grab me some drinks too. 4 minutes more of break. What are you guys working on? Anybody here coming to the group later? Anybody got any fun non-Linux related things? All right. We're gonna finish that up and then we'll clean these up. Let's see. I might want to fix the web server. Good God. Let's do this. Cracked open a cold one? Yeah, it's just a cold blue monster though. I'm not drinking a beer. Actually, some of you guys might not know this. Fun fact. I am what you would typically call a teetotaler. Well, at least for alcohol. I do drink caffeine, so I guess I'm not completely a teetotaler, but I don't drink alcohol. Except one time a year. One time a year when me and all my friends get together on Christmas Day, I can be convinced to drink a beer or drink some alcohol. And on Christmas night, I think I had like 6 rum and cokes, so I was pretty licked up, pretty liquored up. And but I don't normally drink at all anymore. So verify space is set up correctly. Create. And then create the correct disk configuration. Create file system. Okay, there we go for that. And then the last one is going to be the system must be able to update. Ensure that the kernel is also trying to update. Okay, so that's going to be this part of it. Yeah, I don't really drink too much, but I was pretty licked up on Christmas. Yeah, when I was younger I drank a lot, but I don't really do that anymore. All right, so let's add. I think our incident sheet on the left is good. I know I'm still on break technically, but we'll cut that out of here. All right, that was a break. We're getting back to it in earnest. And what are we doing? 1, I'm playing a game on my phone a little bit. And 2, for you guys, we're going to clean up this one on the left, and we're going to add the pieces that we need to. 1 second here. All right. Give me 1 more second here, guys. Okay. All right, so let's add in. And I'm not really super worried about like hiding these because these are going to be there for a while anyways. But we're going to add in the passwords for each of the users so that when people come in, they can connect to the right environment. And then here will be this one. All right, boom, password, boom. All right, so let's save that file, save it as, people want it as a PDF, so we'll turn it into a PDF. Boom, save it. And let's get that out of the way then. All right. So the general part of this is all set up now, where people can go and do that. Now this will be spoiler for people that are going to be around here later. So if you don't want to spoil anything for yourself, I guess this would be. Hold on. You have. They ask. Give them hints. You have the answer here. If they ask, you may give them hints. Otherwise, you can help them find the right solution any way you want to. Yeah. All right. Web server must be running. Hint. HPD. Okay. These guys that I'm giving these answers to are not, they're not like incapable of, they're all admins and engineers too. So, shit, I don't remember where it is, guys. Where's that at? SH Rocky 11. Yeah, I was right. That's weird. Why don't I see? That's weird. Oh. Okay. Again, if you're watching this and you're going to be here later, you're ruining it for yourself. But I don't care how people get to the right answer as long as they feel comfortable with it. All right, so that's lab one. Lab lab one was these are the answers, right? So I'm over on the answer sheet now. This is what the guys that want to see the answers and help out are going to do. Do you guys think I should change these to be the troubleshoot labs? Do you guys want me to change these to be like the fun little labs stuff that we had set up here? Because I could set that up, right? Wouldn't be hard to put troubleshoot 1, 2, and 3 in there. Let's see how it looks. Do we want to put that in there? Do you guys think that would be a nice little touch? All right, I'll do it. All right. I need to go make two because I didn't grab two. So what was that guy's name? Pav. No. Hold on. SC. Here it is. Pador. That's what his name is. All right. We need Ogre troubleshoot 2. There we go. I feel like that top got mixed up though. There we go. I think that's better. All right. We'll leave that there so we can go grab it again if we need. But we got to bake those. So here's the thing, guys. We got to bake those into the image. So we got to exit out of here. And actually, we can do it right here. So exec. And we can go exec into troubleshooting 3, BI-etc-MOTD. And just kill that. And troubleshoot 3 is going to get this one. Escape : WQ. Exit. That's going to build his. And guys, we're not working too hard, but we are building out the lab environment so that everything looks kind of clean later. Thanks for following. Thanks for the follow. We will continue on. We got about 3 hours till the environment comes up, or well, till the people show up for the last of the Linux group meetings for the year. It's also the very end. We managed to make it through all 16 of these things, and my goal in all this is to get you guys doing this, getting you guys feel like you can do it professionally. I feel like challenges like this help push. I think challenges like this will show some people that they have major gaps, and that's fine. It'll show some people that they've grown a lot more than they thought they did in the last few months of doing this. And then I think for some people it'll show them like, hey, I didn't really think I could do this, but actually I powered through and this was pretty easy, and this is the kind of career I want, You ever see the Count of Monte Cristo when he fights Jacobo in the surf with the other pirates looking around, and he asks the other pirate, he's like, what if I kill Jacobo and I don't want to be a pirate like you? And he goes, well, then we slit your throat and we're a bit empty-handed. And he goes, well, I find being the pirate is a life for me, and I'd love to kill your friend the maggot, which was Jacobo's name. Anyways, the point is he's maybe you find this is the thing you love doing. But he says that to save his own life, obviously, but it was still really funny. It's a great scene. Great book, great story. All right, we're going to build these. We're going to build them into the environments, and then we're going to reboot those nodes, and then we're going to get everything to come up. And how's it going, Ray? I'm just going to call you Rain because I don't know how to say all that. Hello, we are not working too hard. We're just getting ready for the 16th week of the Linux Systems Administration course that I run. And that's over here for anybody that wants it. We got a Discord. Hang out down there for free, hang out with other engineers, and talk about being, involved with Linux if that's what you want to do. And if you don't want to do it, you're still welcome to hang out. I don't require you to do Linux to hang out with us, right? That's not a requirement. Also, I don't think I could stop you guys from hanging out with us even if I wanted to, so feel free to hang out. Rain, it's going good over here. Yeah, we're just not working too hard. Let's get these environments built. So we're building out the container images that are going to run Rocky 11 through 16 for the different troubleshooting environments. And since Chris said to do it, I'm doing it. Chris over on YouTube said do it, and I'm doing it. And we're going into each of the environments and building them. All right, troubleshoot 1. He's going to get this one. Looks good. All right, so now we're going to reboot those nodes. So we'll do the subset of 11 through 16. We'll just go kick them over. Well, we can kick them over a few ways, I guess. I'll show you how we do it in Bash back in the day. Normally we'd do Ansible if we could. Currently working on fixing some issues with OpenSUSE for my son's laptop. Besides that, been working on my home lab. Want to run a self-host instance of PenPot. I haven't played with PenPot. What is that, Luis? Is that a good? I'm not sure what that is. But I like any time I hear about new open source stuff. So let's see, what is PenPot? Oh. Oh. That looks pretty cool. Interesting. Yeah, I'd never... Oh, that's awesome. Nice little design tool. Now, when you lay these out, and then it looks over here like it's doing some kind of, you know, code generation, will that generate in different types of code? Like, would that generate HTML for you if you needed to? Because obviously it's doing some kind of web layout, but... And that looks like that's probably at least, yeah, CSS or something. It'll do all that? Yeah, because you guys, if you guys don't know, I am tremendously, even painfully bad at web stuff. I can build the underlying systems all day, but my both my patience with web stuff and my patience with design stuff is 0 to nil. 1, I'm colorblind. 2, basically spatially nothing works for me and I hate it all. So I don't even like that. Yeah. So okay. We got that built. So let's do. I'm gonna show you guys. This will be the way that we did it. Maybe back before we had other tools. So I could do it like this. I say for I in, and then I just build like a sequence of 11 to 16, let's say, and I can say do echo I am checking, just for now, just to make sure. $I done, right? And that'll hit them all. And then right here I would add in SSH to Rocky $I up to, I don't know what the hell's going on my screen. $I, and then Jesus, I don't know what the fuck's going on to my screen right now. There we go. So we would check them all, right, real quick, and then we would just reboot them. So this is kind of the way that we would normally have done that back in the day. And then now I can keep an eye on them. Well, I can keep on them a few ways, but when we're done here, we'll go... Yeah, that's fine. Give it a second here. Give it a second. Let those nodes reboot, and then we'll go hit each one of them real quick and just make sure that they have the T-shoot. Oh, I didn't rebuild their overlays. Just build all the overlays. It doesn't really matter. They are probably... That's fine. That's fine. It should get to them by the time it shares them off. Johnny asked if I use SaltStack. I've played with SaltStack. I haven't used it much. I haven't used it professionally, that's for sure. I got a contract a while back. I was working as a Linux engineer for a company called what the hell is it? Some pool company out here in Arizona. I was doing contract work for them, and they is weird. They ended up flaking out on me pretty bad. It was super weird because they're like the biggest pool supply store in the valley in all of Phoenix, Arizona. But anyways, it was kind of weird. But anyways, the point is they use Salt, and I messed with it a little bit, but no, I haven't used it professionally too much. I've looked at it though. Man, that was a weird. Like normally you don't have errors like that inside a screen, but that one was a weird one. All right, so we can, for fun. Oh, I don't even want to mess with that. We'll just ping Rocky 11. Wait for it to come back up. That's fair enough. Yeah, we expect some destination hosts unreachable for now. Alright, so let's go to then. We'll let that keep running. We'll finish these up. Troubleshooting scenario 2. The disk must be set up in LVM. Hint, use your PVS, PGS, LVS tools. Right? Answer is going to be PV create dev XVD whatever. So the answer will be it'll be first identify all disks. That'll be fdisk -l grep-i xvd, then pv create against whatever their disks, then pg create, space with dev xvd disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, then lv create -n space from space I don't know, BG or something like that. Okay, and then this will be hint make fs.ext for dev mapper name of logical volume. Oh, hint. So the hint is right, so that'll be the hint and the answer. Space must be created and mounted off this file system. Make the directory answer. Oh, let's come back over there. So So Rocky 11 and 12 should be troubleshoot 1. 13 should be 2. 14 should be 2. 15 should be 3. And 16 should be 3 as well. Boom. There we go. All right, we did it. We did it, Chris. There we go. We did it. All right. How would I make the... FS tab for this would be... Who knows what these last two numbers mean? Do you know what those last two numbers mean? Oh yeah. Okay. There's those answers. Reboot the machine when they're done. All right, all right, all right. And Steve1 over on YouTube, how's it going? We're just hanging out, working on this lab environment setup that we have. We just added in some, you know, troubleshooting niceties for people that get in the labs. Because when in about 3 hours, we're going to meet up in the Discord. We always meet on... This is Prolog 16 week systems administration course. We're in Unit 16 today, so it's just going to be like a troubleshooting free-for-all for people. And you guys are just going to be down there just slogging through, fixing things. And working with the other people that I can find that will help. And then we have a New Year event coming up, so if people want to come to that, we're going to do some prizes and some stuff there. And then I try to get some guest speakers. I'm getting hit or miss responses from guest speakers, so I'm going to try to probably push out one more last little call for just discussions. And that's the thing is, like, I don't even want people to come in and teach anything. I just want them to come in and tell you guys about being Linux engineers or being in a Linux adjacent workspace or, you know, whatever it is. Because I tell you guys all the time, like, I don't think you have to just do Linux and then just make a career like I did and be down in the trenches all the time. Some people do Linux and jump over and do data analytics, and some people do Linux and jump over and do software engineering, and some people do Linux and then they jump into like heavy storage or heavy networking. I'm ambivalent to where you go. I just think that you guys can get together and work with some other people. Steve1 said, can I ask something stupid? Yeah, you'd ask whatever you want. You can ask, yeah, you can ask whatever you want. And then Pessa's going to come and talk to you guys again. Michael Pessa, his stuff's really good. Last time he came and talked, he heavily focused on Ansible in both the enterprise and in his home lab. And this time he's going to focus on the Kubernetes piece that a lot of people wanted to see. So, yeah, so anyway, so you guys are welcome to come hang out down there. Discord's free, doesn't cost anything, I don't charge you guys anything. All right, your team's trying to update the junior administrator kicks over server that they cannot get to update. All right, fix the server. Hint: DNF isn't updating. So where are the repos that it looks for? Answer: Steve said, can you recommend a distro for just a school laptop, use preferably with scaling? Of course, my laptop is 14 inches. Steve, I mean, if you're doing, you know, if you want the easiest, okay, I know it's Steve, but it keeps saying Steve over here. But anyways, if you want like the one that just works, right? the thing that's going to work the easiest out of the box for you, the most friendly version that I can think of for just if you don't want to be like a power user doing like deep admin and engineering stuff, I would just put an Ubuntu on there or Fedora. Those are the two friendliest. They're just the friendliest. They're going to work. You're not going to have to scratch under, you're not going to go under the hood too much. It's like, do you want to buy, a brand new, BMW and have the plan already fixed out and there's not going to be much under the hood work, or do you want to buy like an old beater and then you're going to work on it all the time, right? Yeah, I mean, if Fedora is not the thing that's going to be the easiest for you, then go with Ubuntu. But either of those should be fine. Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of X11. The guy who probably does the most of that around here is going to be probably Fisherman. But I can tell you this: you should be able to on Fedora install, God, at least 5 other desktops for very little work. I mean, last time I was on Fedora doing anything, I could switch between what is it, XCFE, GNOME, KDE, and I mean, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them, right? So you should be able to, I would think, change between them. I don't know. I don't do a whole lot with the whole visualization. I've told you guys, like, in my professional, 20 plus years of doing Linux, I've spent all of the days here at the command line. So, any X11 stuff I've even worked on were because users had problems with it and they were trying to visualize something. I've never done anything so that. Steve. So, Rainesis, you said, what distro am I currently running? I am out on, these are CentOS, these are not, sorry. The box I'm on is the CentOS box here. And then these ones out here are Rocky 9.4. These troubleshooting labs that we're building out here. DNF isn't updating, so what are the repos that looks for? If you're like wondering what else I have in the environment, I have a fair amount of Ubuntu. I have a fair amount of... we had Kali stuff, but I don't think I'm even doing anything with the Kali box. I think this one's sitting on the installer, yeah. Let's eject that. Let that reboot, and then we'll... This is one we built the other day on stream when we were messing around. And I guess I never finished it. Alright, so it's requesting the system to reboot. Then we go out there. Anyways, the point is I have a whole bunch of stuff. I have a whole bunch of like hardened image that we've built for the different stuff. So that's sig term, sig kill. Let's eject that disk so the system can reboot. Yeah. There we go. Now we got Kali if we wanted it. All right. Answer. Sorry, etsyyum.com. Yeah, Renesis, I've in all my career, I have never seen, I've never worked anywhere where the end users were getting Linux. Um, I have had a fair amount of power users at like Lockheed Martin that requested Linux for like a secondary desktop. And then when I worked with like Red Hat, those guys are all on Fedora as their daily drivers. But I would say for the most part, Renesis, yeah, I'd say 99.5% of companies are not making people do Linux as their daily drivers for normal system work. Normal day-to-day type tasks. But I mean, it's a thing. It's just from a professional standpoint, I don't focus a lot on like desktop stuff. I don't think the desktop part of it's nearly as important for people. And I have people come in here all the time and, ask me about the differences between, me running Windows here and other stuff. And I'm like, I mean, that's not nearly as important as being able to SSH into a box and being able to SCP something from one machine to another. Like, what you're using to get to the system is so much less important than what you're doing within the system. And people don't tend to understand that. Let's go check on Ranger Dog. How's Ranger doing? Hold on. How's Ranger Dog doing? Do I not have Ranger Cam up? Huh. Ranger Cam. How's Ranger doing? There's Ranger. That's my dog down there. That's his little downstairs Christmas tree and his little Linux penguin with his hat on. Ranger is out. That's what Ranger's normally doing at this time of day. But we had a Ranger check over on the Twitch side, so we had to go check on Ranger. And he's sleeping, which is what 13-year-old guard dogs do. Fucking Ranger. We love Ranger, but man, he's a lazy dog. All right. Come out the line at etsy.conf about exclude. This is stopping. All right. So I feel like that's pretty good. That should get people through all the troubleshooting things. I'll also say hint. Okay. I think that gets that one pretty ready. So we got the labs all set up. We got the scenarios set up. We've got the environments set up where people can go and, they'll know what lab environment that they're set in. I need to see if anybody else responded in our engineer channel. Did any of them say? I think Sending Grounds are going to be able to come maybe. I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to come, but we're going to have people in there. Raynesis, he said, so Linux sysadmin is more focused on server kind of things, or what's the major difference between Linux and Windows admin? Yeah, so a Linux administrator would typically be supporting all the Linux systems in a company. Those systems are probably going to be back-ended to storage and high-performance compute, and maybe some web stuff, and maybe some Kubernetes workflows. And like the Linux admin is going to be keeping everything working. Typically, you move from like a Linux admin over to like a Linux engineering role. Typically, this is a methodology right here I show you guys often for how systems administration and engineering works, but it comes from this Cisco model called the PPDIO deployment, and it's prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize. But when you're a sysadmin, you tend to start over here in the operations field, and you do a thing called keep the lights on, KTLO. So keep the lights on are your network operations center, your security operations center, your help desk sometimes. And your job is to keep things running. So you keep your web servers up, you keep your security devices and your monitoring and your logs and that kind of stuff intact. A lot of times your systems, you know, a lot of times your back-end storage is all Linux. So those clusters have to be maintained, this kind of stuff. So we operate systems and then we try to optimize them, you know, make them better. This is what administrators do over here. And then as you move more into project work, this is more your engineering stuff. Engineers do more of the project work. And most people think the project work is more fun. It's just different. It's not that it's more fun. It's work, because if it wasn't work, it wouldn't be called work, right? But things are challenging, and we have to sit down and use our brains to make effort and make things work. So it is work. But over here is where we prepare, plan, design, and implement systems typically. And then our sysadmins are the ones that are operating and optimizing them. So like this Linux sysadmin course that I've been running has been focused on this side of the things. What we're going to be doing today is fixing an incident. These labs are going to be heavily on fixing problems that are happening in our environment and getting our systems back to a running state, right? So hopefully that's clear as mud. What else do we got? Let's see. Got the environment up. We got all that going. I got the documentation. Oh, I got to make the presentation a little better. So I got to add a little bit to the presentation. And then get our presentation cleaned up a little bit. And then I'll get our worksheet cleaned up a little bit. And I have to come up with the 3 questions for the 3 questions for this week. By the way, the Linux Systems Administration course, if you do it all, you have the chance to get one of these. Although I think at this point, it's still good to start if you haven't started. But I will tell people, I don't think most people would be finishing it now, if they, at least not before we're done, if they haven't started it yet. But if you do finish it, you'll get something that looks like this. This is a orange version of the one. We'll be releasing the blue version. So it'll look like this, and it'll be like a little prologue certificate. You'll have a little status code over here that'll be able to let people look up your name, whoever you are. And then you could work on getting yourselves one of these. But again, the one we're going to release will be blue. It won't be orange like this. So, and that will only be attainable by people who finish all of the project work and everything else by the 19th. So you're pretty much about 3 weeks left for people that want to finish it. Now, if you were to go back and try to start now, I'm not saying you couldn't do it. I'm just telling you guys that it's about 6 to 8 hours worth of work per week to catch up. So you will probably be, you know, you'd be looking at a significant amount of hours right now to try to catch up and finish. We're in week 16, so, you know, I'd be guessing about 120 hours worth of work. So like a full-time job for the next 3 weeks. I'm not trying to scare anybody off. I think the best time to start is now. The best time to start would have been at the beginning, but the second best time is right now if you haven't. But I would go in there and start working on all this Linux Systems Administration stuff that we have. All the stuff that we've done. But yeah, Ranger's doing good. You guys saw the Ranger check. He's down there doing Ranger stuff. The dog. The wife restrung up his Christmas lights, so they were dying on this tree. The lights were dying in different strands. So all right. What else do we got? Complaints department. If you guys do want to start, you come down here to like beginner start here, and here's the playlist for all the courses. We'll record course 16 tomorrow, and then we go down to the prologue projects, and this is where you find all the material. This material, somebody asked me the other day, is this always going to be here? Yes, I don't plan on deleting any of this stuff. So you can always come back through here and find all this material for as long as we're a Discord server. So, okay. Other than that, did all this, did all that. I will link this over to you guys again because I haven't done it in a little while. There's the Discord on the Twitch side. There's the Discord on the YouTube side for people that want to go hop in there. I'm going to set my little break thing up, take another quick break, and then quick break, then more Linux. We'll do some more Linux stuff after that. I got another thing we can work on a little bit as well. So take a break. I'll be back. We'll keep going. All right. A little bit more break. Feel free to hang out and relax, guys. I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to fix some things while we're sitting here talking. Go back to the Linux stuff. We did that the other day. We did a fair amount of these the other day, but maybe we'll play with this a little bit. So yeah, we'll keep doing some some lab stuff. Sometimes we do just skills to the job, right? Sometimes we just look at skills to get the job. So we'll do that here in a little bit. But we're still on break. Feel free to ask me questions if you got them. We're not working too hard as usual. I'm gonna play a video game here for a minute. Playing a video game while you guys sit here. Also, probably should drink some water. Move that right over there while we're waiting. All right. You guys let me know if you got any questions. We'll get back into some systems work here shortly. One minute left to break. All right. Timer's up. Back to work. Back to work. One more second on my game, too. Gotta merge all my silly little stuff in my game. All right. All done playing games. All right, so let's get out of these nodes. Although, yeah, I just thought that should look like that. All right, so let's just go to like 17 or something. So now these 17, 18, 19 nodes are out of the way, because the way the other nodes work is if you jump into our environment, you get nodes 1 through 10. And then if you jump into any of the troubleshooting clusters, you get 11, 12 for troubleshoot 1, 13, 14 for 2, 15, 16. For 3. So Rocky 17 should be nice and out of the way. And some of the commands and things that are kind of shown over here on the top right, these come from like the Linux Plus kind of guide and things that you can mess with and look at. So One of the first ones is IP, right? So this IP command, I was very used to ifconfig, right? Like ifconfig was always fun, but they're kind of going away from that in a lot of versions of Linux. So probably the most common one you're going to see nowadays is IP adder, and you're going to use that to see what interfaces the device sees. You're going to see how the device views its own configuration. If there's configurations that I expect to be a certain way, like I know that I'm on a /24 network, which means that my mask is 255.255.255.0, right? Like I know that that's what that is. If this were incorrect, if the machine was seeing it wrong, the network would be bad. But if the machine's seeing it correctly as it is, then we should be able to talk and see things. Another one that's really big, so IP adder is huge for seeing the system and seeing what's going on. Other ones that are really big for troubleshooting are like IP route or IPR. And in this, I can see how my system is going to send traffic out if I try to do some kind of, ping to www.google.com or something. There obviously has to be some name resolution, and that name resolution is going to happen somewhere at layer 7 with DNS typically. But my system found this IP address, and then it went to ping it, and according to these rules, it couldn't use 192.168.200 because at a /24, which means that the first 4 or the first 3 octets are significant, 192.168.200 does not match 142.250.140 exactly, right? So so we've got this, and then I can see that my ping worked, but the way this had to go out was actually through ETH0 on this route because it didn't match anything else, so it needed a default route. If your devices don't have default routes, they can't send traffic outside of what they know in their set routes. So we always want a default route so this thing can hot potato anything it doesn't know what to do with up until the next hop. And this uses the 192.168.200.1 internal interface in my system. Now that happens to be not a router. Well, strictly speaking, it's not a router. It's a Linux device, but it is doing routing at the IP layer with the kernel routing, and it's using IP tables forwarding. Right. This is a device in my environment called cRouter, and cRouter is this guy right here. cRouter sits here and routes between the 192.168.200 and the 192.168.11 networks in my home. So when you jump into my home and you guys go into my lab environment, you're actually jumping through my environment into the .200 network, right? Some of you guys know that architecture. Some of you guys haven't been around for that. But when you do that, that puts you in a different network from my own personal one, and then I can lock these devices down based on their routing and their other stuff. Let me show you guys one of my favorite ones, IP-BR ADDR. This is probably one of my favorite ones because what it does is it distills down just the information I really want to know. Is my interface up? What's the information that's attached to that interface, right? Another one that's really kind of becoming more popular on the Red Hat side of things is NMCLI, and you can use that with like con show, and that'll show the devices that are there. And you can use device show, and that'll show you the devices that are connected, and it'll give you information about them and how they're working. But for me, I like to see things in a brief manner most of the time. Like if you're popping something up on my screen, I want it to be short. I want it to just have the information that I want. And in this case, we know that our system can ping all the way out to the World Wide Web, so that's good. But if it couldn't, right? If it couldn't, and it was a virtual machine and we were connected to it, I would be checking things like IP-BR adder to make sure that the interfaces are shown. Maybe I had to console in to get a connection to it because I couldn't get it over the network. I happen to be SSH'd in, so I know that all the way up to layer 3 is up and SSH is working over that. So I'm able to connect in, right? But then I might do something like ETH tool and then ETH0 to see that the link is detected for ETH0. Because here's the thing, Rocky 17 doesn't exist. Back in the day, we would walk down the data center and we would go look at the back of a big physical box called Rocky 17, and we would see if the cable was connected to the back correctly. if the cable was connected to the back, there should be a if it was connected in the back, it should have like a green, steady blinking light. Maybe it's an orange light. And typically, by the way, those lights are easy enough to detect. I'm colorblind and I can still see them. So, like, it's easy enough to tell the green and the orange and the different colors that are on the back of the system. But nowadays, we don't have physical machines. So there is no, Rocky 17 doesn't physically exist anywhere. It exists in memory inside of this machine here. So if this machine here has Rocky 17 down here, and then I go to its networking and it says, yeah, it's active. Well, that's cool. That's cool and all that this machine is telling us that it's active and it's on an interface, and that's good. We could probably even map that back to show that it is the proper 627D 9413052A. Yeah, this maps to that. Okay, good. That doesn't mean that this device sees that network connection, though. So if there was something wrong, if I didn't have like the drivers or something, what was that driver for this? It's net. I think it's a net one. If I didn't have the, I thought it was ETH, but if it's not net, it's IP. No, it's none of those. What's that one? iNet. Is it iNet? There's our NF table stuff. No. But the point is, it's very possible that if something's not working, it is all working in here, but if it's not, that I have to go figure out why, right? Do I have to do like an dmessage grep-i for like ETH0 and see, is ETH0, in there? Is it flapping? Maybe you grep ETH0 from where your logs tend to be, right? Messages on the system, and you see, is it flapping? Now, if it's December 28th at 1940, and that device had a whole bunch of stuff about 2.5 hours ago, a little under 2.5 hours ago, that device had a big event happen. Well, was anybody here 2.5 hours ago? What did I do to this environment? I rebooted it all, right? Well, if I rebooted it all, obviously you're going to have some stuff like that happening. So there's that. You can also look for, if you have, you can go look at LSPCI and see if the devices are showing up here. If you had physical devices, they would be showing up in here typically. And that's actually a pretty big activity, looking at LSPCI and connected devices and drivers, and then kernel modules that are loaded for physical boxes. So if you work with big physical boxes, this is sometimes the thing you have to check when servers go down and come back up and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so this is the kind of thing that you go and you dig into and you figure out if you need to. We talked about NMCLI. Some people really like this NM2E. I've never really gotten into that. NM2E will give you like kind of a GUI configuration of your interfaces. That's GUI for GUI. And that's not really, it's graphical user interface, right? Oh man, my closed captioning. It's kind of funny. All right. But we have, you can check your host name. You can always check for ARP. And ARP will also give you a -A, which should have any other devices on this network that I know about. My system here, Rocky 17, has only communicated with Werewolf and the gateway. And those are the only two devices that I think it probably needs to. I could ping Rocky 16 maybe, and I would get a response. And then now when I do the ARP, I should see 16. So that's actually kind of, I wouldn't say it's a trick. It's just sometimes you'll find that, especially in newer versions of Red Hat, they clear their ARP cache after RHEL 8 and I guess Rocky 8 and other similar things differently than they did in RHEL 7 and before. So it's kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on. it doesn't always matter, but in some environments it does matter. And I've had it matter with some InfiniBand systems that I've worked on before, but that's not really germane to this. But it is important to kind of look at, you know, where are these things happening and what kind of information is this keeping. You can see ARP traffic if you want to do like a TCP dump and just look for ARP type requests that are going on and maybe look for a higher number than others. Now, you're going to find that it's hard to keep track of that kind of stuff yourself. Like if you're just looking at it and you're eyeballing, you're like, well, it's 44,000 this hour, and oh, well, it's 68,000 now. That's a bit higher. Yeah, that's kind of hard to do, like just with some commands like this. So what we do a lot more of the time is we use tools like Zeek or something like that. Said is ARP from WW or RHEL. ARP has been around way before Red Hat was ever even brought up or thought of. ARP is just address resolution protocol. It's a layer 2 to 3 mapping of IP addresses in a network to the max. So yeah, ARP was around well before Red Hat was. Before Linux was ever even dreamed up, ARP was around. Probably all the way back in the late 70s when DoD was releasing the net, or what became the net. All right, so we looked at all that. We've seen that. By the way, we know that if we look at nsswitch.conf, this is how our system knows the order it's supposed to look things up. So when I went to ping www.google.com, the system first looked in Etsy hosts. And in Etsy hosts, it did not find google.com. It didn't find it. Right here, it went to hosts, files, didn't find it. So the next place it looked was DNS. And in DNS, it got this resolution. And you say, well, how did it know where to look for DNS? Well, that's a file, Etsy resolve.conf, right? Resolve.conf. And that went to 8.8.8.8, which is the Google resolver, and it found it, and then it was able to resolve. So if I did like dig against www.google.com, it would go find that address that it found by going to the server 8.8.8.8, right? So that's how the networking with the Linux works. But watch this. You guys want to see something funny? I VI Etsy hosts, and at the bottom of this, I just add an entry for 192.168.200.1 as www.google.com, right? And now I ping google.com. And my system pinged the gateway, the gateway device it has. Well, why is that? It's because I said, if you go look at the NS switch, that's VIR NS switch, it looked at this first. So I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to do a YYP, and I'm going to change DNS first. And go to files next, right? And then now I'm going to ping Google, and I'm back to using the DNS, even though that's an Etsy hosts. So now it flipped it and it went the other way. It went off of DNS first. So it is important for you to understand how your system resolves things and how your system knows where to look for things, because is it using DNS or is it using the local files? By the way, your systems will always use the default of the local files first. But if you want to change that behavior, you have all the power. It's your Etsy nsswitch.conf file to change that. Right here, this guy. So you have kind of all of these little things. I'm just jumping around on a bunch of these. But all of these things up here that are things to understand in this type of system, you can kind of go look up and control and mess with and all that good stuff. All right, let's go change that back. VI Etsy nsswitch.conf, and we will put this line back. We will delete that line. Escape : WQ. What's an even better practice, and I don't always show you guys this, but I really should. You should copy Etsy nsswitch to something like .orig, so that now you have a copy of it. And then if you needed to, you know, diff, you could diff them later to see what I had changed. You won't find any differences because there aren't any differences right now, but you could if I had made that change, or if I had not copied that. It would have been a lot easier to verify that you were back to the original config when you were done. So why is that kind of stuff important? Well, it's just, I mean, what do you want to change about the behavior of your servers? What do you want to change about the way that you look at security? Do you trust your systems locally more implicitly than you trust your DNS? Is your DNS local? Do you hit in here, oops. In here we use this, but I have a local DNS I could use. I could trust this one first. Name server could be 192.168.11.1 in my home lab first. It's not, and it won't stay persistent even if I reboot this, but I could go build it into Werewolf and make that the internal DNS is where we look first before we go over to like a name server DNS. Also, in this file, you can modify the way it round robins. You can modify the timeouts between queries and whether or not it goes only to this first one or breaks and goes to the second one. There's all kinds of things you can do when you're messing around with your resolve.conf. By the way, if I want to clean this environment up, I just reboot Rocky 17 and it'll come up as a very as a completely clean node when we're done again. While it's rebooting though, I'm going to go jump over to 18 and we'll keep going. We can do host name to see our host name. We can do, there's three basic ways that I check a host or check for something. If I wanted to find out, you know, Google like this. Now you could ping it obviously and your system will go do stuff on the back end. But if you need to, you can dig. And this will tell you what the IP address is as an A record for Google. And it'll tell you the server that it used and when the request was sent from and how good it is, how long ago it was set, that kind of stuff. So that's dig. You can also do NSLOOKUP on www.google.com. It'll give you some similar information about it. It'll give us a authoritative IPv4 address and an authoritative IPv6 address. So we should be able to go ahead and ping that on IPv6 if we wanted to as well, right? And then the last one is we can host it. And that'll give us kind of a shorter one of those. You can also force any of those to only deal in IPv4 or only in IPv6 if you want to do that kind of thing. That's your prerogative, but you can do that. You just got to go man dig, and then look for IPv6 only, you know. And then the -6 says that you only want to, so we go back to our dig, and we use the -6 because we're only playing in 6, right? And now it says only IPv6 should be used, right? And then that'll hopefully still get us a good response. Now, it's probably only doing the dig in IPv6 as well, which means that it might not leave our net. Yeah, I don't think it's going to leave our network because our device, yeah. So our device is only routing on IPv4. So that's I wouldn't say that's a protection, but that's another thing about the interfaces. Is this interface is IPv4 and IPv6 dual homed, but the network, what's going on in between here and there, is not. So the network is only routing on 192.168.200.1 over to the 192.168.11 network. So this is one of these classic examples where if everything's not working in a certain way, nothing's working in that way, right? It's the old, does anybody here remember the old 802.11bg networks? And you would say, oh, 802.11b or G, and we could have both of them and they could interact. And it was like, no. Get those B's out of here. And you say, why get the B's out of here? What are you talking about? Because if you had 11 devices connected on 802.11g and they were operating up to 54, you know, whatever per, I think they were 54 something megabits or whatever it was back then. But then you brought in a B device, all of them had to step down to the slower communication, which I think was maybe, I don't remember what that was, but the point is it was pretty bad. Whatever it was, I forget. But I just know that that's the behavior, right? I don't remember all the other stuff. But got an answer for IPv6. It did not. This did not. Oh, no. So earlier, well, hold on. So earlier, yeah, I get what you're saying. So back here, it used IPv4 to do this. And then you say, yeah. So I get what you're saying. You said over here, we saw an IPv6 answer. Yes. But Dig is trying to use IPv6, which is not configured in my environment. But IPv6 would work if I had that routable in my environment. But no, I shouldn't be able to like ping 6 to this. This should not work out of here because I don't have it configured the whole way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have this guy, the guy that straddles this network right here, C router. He doesn't play. He doesn't play that way. He's got his ETH0 on 200 and his ETH1 over on 192.168.11.160. I know that's hard for you guys to see, but it's a console because I can't access this remotely. And look, he uses IPv6 on both interfaces, but his routing. Oh, Jesus. IP tables -L. Oops, -capital L. His IP tables are only based on IPv4. So they're not configured for IPv6. Now, if I set them up for IPv6 traffic, I bet we'd be just fine. I've never actually tried to do that. Maybe I'll put that in my notes one of these days to set up C router to use IPv6. Because, yeah, then all my devices in the network would use IPv6. They would be able to talk over that, no problem. There's no issue there. Oh man. All right. So all that stuff's good. We got our lab set up. We got about 2 more hours until the group starts. So if any of you guys don't know about our professional Linux users group, we have a Discord that's free for you guys to go hang out in, and we've got a big lab Linux systems administration course going right now, and we're doing the last meeting of the year today for that. That'll be at 3 p.m. so in about 2 hours here, and we've been running through the course. And this one, I have it's kind of special. It's kind of set up where any of you guys that want to try your hand at troubleshooting some systems, you can do so. All right, so you can try troubleshooting and getting in there and working through kind of what's going on. I didn't get, there's one other thing I was going to set up, but I didn't set it up, so let me go see how hard it would be for me to set it up. And then over here we have cd to etc hot. Oops. That one goes to dungeon. I could make one that's just called troubleshooting. Whoops. Just steal that. And then Hmm. What's your data? Hmm. That's definitely not what I wanted. That's funny. James, I don't really have. I mean, I haven't really used much with IPv6 NAT. I didn't even think you had to use NAT anymore with IPv6. But no, I haven't really messed with any gateway vendors. I don't really do much networking anymore. I tell you guys, I came up as a networking engineer and I moved over to Linux pretty early in my career. My last heavy networking was in Pix firewalls. So I've kind of moved. I mean, I can still talk networking at the low level, but like, no, my enterprise networking is probably stuck back in the early 2000s as far as that goes. I mean, I understand the basics of it still, but no, I don't have any newer opinions or newer skills in that area for sure. Hold on, I gotta find. That just keeps executing like recursively down, down, down. So I wonder if that's the one we had. Script started output log is in there. That's when we first set that up. That was a no-hup that we were working on the other day. I thought we had. It's not in there. It's not in there. It's not that though, is it? I mean, that definitely looks like something I would have written, but I don't know. Yeah, if you need that ASCII art, For any of you guys that need that, there's a guy who he did this. That's a pretty good little page. When I need to make them, we come here and let's say I wanted to test all of them, and he's got 323 of them up here. But oops. I can just scroll down and say, okay, which of these do I want to look at? This is the one I think I used, which, oh, Big and then Ogre are similar. But again, some are less tenable than others, some are less palatable than others. But maybe you're just, yeah, this is the Ogre one that I ended up using. And we just really need people to know what environment they're in. These are all ASCII art, every one of them. Let's see if we find a fun one. Those are bears. Look at that. Bunch of bears. And it says troubleshoot inside it. Those are all just 8s and characters related to 8s. Kind of fun that people spent the time putting these together. I've seen some really good ones. Dance. I like it. That one's cool. They built it in just fun times, right? That doesn't even look like it's ASCII art. Find a fun one. But my thing is, these are pretty good if you wanted to just have... Oh, that's not bad. That's marquee lettering. That probably works well if you have only dots to represent your data. So it's called marquee. Some of these ones are pretty cool. Look at that. Peaks and slants. Troubleshoot, but it looks like it's out of a EKG machine, or if any of you remember Excitebike back in the day. Frickin' Excitebike. That game was ridiculous. That was fun though. Oh, by the way, did I lose my... I feel like I lost my background. My talking. Alright, anyways, I got that all done. Let's pull the terminal back up. And we'll pull this back up. And we'll keep going. Alright, I'll probably get off of here soon because I got about 2 hours until we have our big meeting. I can't probably, or I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time Q. It's kind of funny. Let's see. I gotta fix that. SH there. So this is definitely a different version than the one that I have on the Ubuntu side. So I think that the let me see if I can find a script. So script logging. Man, I gotta sneeze. Oh man. Alright, I don't see. Well, I probably won't get this other thing worked out before we start our group later. But what I was trying to do was find the... So script behaves differently on Rocky than it does on Ubuntu. So I'm trying to find where this... hold on. So where this log is going. So the F is the file. I don't think F works the same way in this one as it did over there. Okay, hold on. So I might have to change that to a dash capital O. We'll work on that another day. We'll leave that out of there for now. Yeah, we won't worry about that for now. What I was going to do was get all the logging working so that everybody would be able to see when everybody else is troubleshooting. We'd all be able to see them doing their commands and them working in their systems. But I think that we have a good enough system for the labs today that it should be able to work. I think that people will be able to get a good enough little set of troubleshooting steps done in their actual little incidents that they're working on. So I think that's what we'll end up doing. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll go hop into... We were looking at skills to get the job. We were doing some IP stuff, but then I jumped back over to keep working on this and get the system finished up the way I wanted. So the way the environment now works, if you jump in on the normal streamer user, you get to Rocky 1 through 10. If you jump in as the troubleshoot 1, 2, or 3 user, you get dropped into the troubleshooting environments. And we'll have you guys go and work on those during the actual prologue during the meeting today here in about an hour and a half. So that'll be good. I think that'll be good. So all right. Hey Nil, him. Hopefully, sorry, I'm choking over here. Hopefully this stuff's all useful to you. Although we are going to get off of here soon because we're going to be doing our group in an hour and a half. So I'm trying to think of what else I want to do for you guys today. Project we're doing, if you care, is over here. We're on the last of our professional Linux users group. We're in week 16 of 16, so we're done. And you guys will have all the lab stuff that you can connect to, and you can do some troubleshooting today and actually work through some incidents and that kind of stuff. So I think that'll be good. And maybe we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it one of two ways, depending on how many people show up. We'll either jump down and troubleshoot in those different environments ourselves, or I'll have you guys go in there. I was thinking kind of one-on-one, but maybe a few at a time, and just get down in there and work on this stuff. I think that'll be good. Yeah. All right. Let me throw us on the end of stream here. I'll get off of here, and then we'll talk. Anybody that wants to come and hang out, we'll start up in about an hour and a half down in the Discord. You guys are welcome to come hang out with us